Halito, and welcome to Native ChocTalk, a podcast by natives for all. Here we're keeping our Native ancestors' stories and history alive, while also sharing with you our Native culture, traditions, and more. I'm Rachel Youngman, a Choctaw originally from Anadarko, Oklahoma. I hope you'll enjoy this journey with me as we learn from our Native American guests. And I hope you'll do me a favor. Feel free to like and share these episodes. I so appreciate it. Yakuki.
You're listening to part 3 of this series.
When I am doing the things that I'm doing, I'm representing my past, I'm representing my ancestors, and all the people here today who helped me be who I am. We know who we are. We know what our ancestors say. We know what our people have been doing in terms of science for millennia. And I feel this beautiful sense of responsibility to perpetuate that. We want to make sure that our children and our children's children keep knowing what that looks like.
See and share our stories at togetherwe'remore.com.
And your search didn't even stop there. You discovered another allotment, this one in Duncan, Oklahoma. Tell us about that.
So I kept searching because I knew that there was other family members that had land allotments in, I think it was Pecola. And so I went looking, but then it's funny because I was like, let me just see. I don't know why. I just felt like putting in my great grandfather's name. And I found him having more land in Duncan, in Chickasaw Nation. It's not
there.
it's not in Choctaw Nation anymore. So,
Right.
and they were big ones. They were 160-acre allotments. Like the ones in Tamaha were very small. They were one of his brothers had something for 50. His was 30. My great grandma's was, I think, 20. So they were really small up in that area. And so this one was really big. And he had land with and it's just outside of Duncan. So even then it was in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah. And then he had one, and then his mom had one, and then she shared half of hers with his sister. So I went looking for the land to see what kind of land it was. It's never been inhabited. They've never built anything on it, ever.
They've never built anything. And so what is it now? Do you know? Is it
So
crop?
when I went, so there's nothing on it now. It's owned by people now. But they still don't do anything with it either. It's not farmed. It's not inhabited. It's never been, I don't know what the right word is, but they've never done anything with it. So it's just
so bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, you and I talked about how that's it's further out when you are in, say, Durant. Duncan is further out than you want to travel typically. So next time I'm in Chickasha, which will be in June, let me know, because then let me know where to go. I'll go out to Duncan, which isn't too far from Chickasha, and I'll go take the land or something. So
Okay.
yeah, as long as I know how to get there,
You know what's really funny is that when I was showing it to Mike, and he goes to Oklahoma often, he's like, it's just straight out there. He's like, and I think I've told you this too.
Yeah.
We have family members that are from Duncan. They're Choctaw. They didn't know about this land.
They didn't know. Are they still there in Duncan?
No, they moved to Indiana, but they grew up there, high school there. My grandfather's brother lived there. So my great uncle lived there for 50 years.
And he had no idea. How is it? This is such a mystery. When you figure this out, you have to come back on the show so you can tell us part 2.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I still have some more research to do, but I don't know, it was just one of those things that I was like, and nobody, like my mom didn't know, Mike didn't know. So
that's just crazy. Oh, how cool though that you found something no one's known yet.
And that's all because of that, me reading that book and thinking, I was like, I know we had it, and then finding that YouTube. And then what's funny about that YouTube, when I've gone back in recent searches, it's like 4th or 5th down now. That night it was first at the top. So I always want to say this, and it may sound real frou-frou. My ancestors were pushing me to find it that day. That's why it was at the top.
Yes, they were. Yeah. I truly believe that happens. I truly do. There's a reason that you were supposed to find that. Very interesting. Well, maybe if you move to Oklahoma, you can buy it back from the people who have never inhabited it.
Funny because it's funny because I have a friend in Durant. She's like, I'll go out there. I'll go take a look. And I was like, hold on. Because she said the same thing. She's like, maybe you could, because she's very encouraging. She wants me to come out. She's from California too. So,
Yeah.
and so she's like, maybe you can live on that. I was like, hold on. I was like, just give me a second. But yeah, that would, oh my gosh, that would be to get that back,
Yeah.
even like an acre of it,
Yeah, right. That would
would
be
be
so
amazing.
special. By 1937, we see just how vital that land remained. Your grandfather, James Rose, was given an honorable early discharge from the army to
Mhm.
return home and help farm it. What do you know about that chapter?
So, and again, I think I said earlier they were growing corn and, or not, sorry, corn, wheat and cotton. And that's always what my family's always grown cotton. And funny enough, my grandfather James, when he did come out here and he finally bought his land in Chowchilla, he had a 60-acre farm where he grew cotton. Um,
Okay.
so that's what he did out here. He used to grow watermelon too because my mama liked watermelon.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was really sweet. And he had dairy, or not dairy, but he had cattle and stuff too. But so he knew how to farm from growing up in Tamaha and there, and doing the wheat and the cotton and stuff. And what's funny is he used to tell my mom, we have to have irrigation out here in California.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
they didn't have to have that in Oklahoma.
Ah,
So things were getting tight, and my great grandfather was like, I need him home. And from what I understand, you can't do that now.
mm.
You can't go to the army. And he specifically went to Fort Sill because that's where my grandfather was and said, I need him home. I should send
And they
you,
just let him do that.
they did.
That's crazy. Huh.
I have his discharge papers where it gave him an honorable discharge. And it says it on there that he was needed home to help farm the land. So he was only in the army for a year. And
Wow.
he boxed when he was in the army professionally. So he kept himself busy when he was there. And from what I understand, it was he wasn't like mad about going home, but he wasn't super happy about going home because he wanted to go help his daddy. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Interesting. And he was obviously definitely needed.
yeah.
All right. And then 1924, your great grandmother Carlisle became the postmaster in Tamaha. What did
Yeah.
that role mean for him and for, let's say, your family's connection to the
So
town?
what's funny about that? One of the reasons that he took that job was because he was a barber,
Oh,
and that job he got to be in one place, and he could do the postmaster job and he could do the barber job in one place and have two businesses. That's the one thing I
that's
will say about that.
hilarious.
That man was a hustler in the most respective way you can say it.
Yes.
He
That's where you get
definitely.
your hard work ethic.
It's funny because my grandfather out here, James, at one point he had 6 businesses going at one time. Um,
Wow.
so it's essentially like that's why he took that job. Now he only did it, I want to say, for 3 years. He
Uh-huh.
didn't do it for very long. But what's funny, Rachel, is that Tamaha didn't have a post office for very much longer after that. The post office was closed in the early 50s.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so there was only like I want to say 12 postmasters in the ever of the town of Tamaha. So it's
Ever.
pretty special. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I have a funny story. Again, I mentioned I was going to do an episode on Tamaha. And okay, so the very first person who ended up in jail, you might know this already, but the very first person that was in the Tamaha jail, and this was
Mhm.
before your ancestors, but
Yeah,
he was a postman, and he
of
was
course.
on. Do you know the story?
No, I want to hear it,
Oh,
but it's
okay,
funny that
okay,
he's a postman.
right. Yeah, so he was a postman and he was kind of big on the drinky drink. And one day
Yeah,
he was on his horse and he was like falling off because he was, having some issues. And so
yeah.
these boys went and told on him and he got put in jail. He was the very first person to be put in the Tamaha jail was the postman.
Oh my gosh. What I should look at too to see if because the what's it called? I can't think of it. It's the book of where they recorded all the postmans or the postmasters.
Okay.
We
Yep.
should see if he's in it.
Yes. Okay.
We
I'll see
should
if I
see
can
if he's
remember his name. Okay. Okay.
yes.
I
Because I
love that you
have
have
that.
that. That's such a good idea.
That's where we found his name, and it was funny because when Mike and I were talking about it, my cousin, he was like, yeah, he's like he did that so he could have both jobs and be in one place and not have to, because he was also farming at the time too. So he was farming,
Oh
he was a
my
postmaster, he
gosh.
was a barber. So
So he's over there clipping away and just like sticking mail in the slots.
right. That's why I was like, what do you mean being in one place? He's like, well, because it gave him a place to cut hair so people could come there and not have to go to the house. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
guy. This Carlisle is just such a character. I like him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then later in life, your family settled in Kyoto, not far from Tamaha. And
Yeah.
what did Carlisle end up doing? Did he continue farming or what?
So he quit farming, and he became a preacher
Oh, did
for
he?
the last parts of. He died in, I think it was 1961 or 66. Sorry,
Okay.
I kind of go back and forth on that, but
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I think it was 66. But he became a preacher and he traveled. But the funny thing is, he was based out of a church in Kyoto, and the connection there is that my grandma Susie, who's not Choctaw, she that's where she was from. And
Okay.
so that, and of course we all know that there's a ton of churches in Oklahoma and especially in that area, but he would travel from church to church, but that was where his main church was, where he would preach.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyoto
So
is on so many of the documents that you and I see out there. I don't know much about the town itself, but there must be some history there that ended up, people moving there, don't you think?
I do, and it's such a tiny town. I've been
Yeah.
there a small amount of towns and or times, and it's just you can drive right through it. And it's funny
Yeah.
because my mom's like, yeah, so my cousin was the principal of the high school there, and then he was the coach of the baseball team there, or my cousin was a teacher there.
Right.
So and I'm always like, that town is so tiny to have all of that. And again, that's
Yeah.
where my grandma's side of the family is from and where they're buried. So we go to Kyoto. And one of the things I need to ask in one of my language classes, and you might know this too, I've been told that Kyoto is the word for fire, but in Choctaw, but whenever I've looked it up, it is not. So I need to go and ask
Oh.
what Kyoto means because it's supposed to be a Choctaw word, but I can't find it anywhere. So when um, just on Sunday, I always do ancestry on my phone when I'm watching TV or game or
Hmm.
something, and so that's when I found I got a hint, and I was like, let me go see what this is on ancestry, and it was the 1910 census. And
Yep.
remember how we had talked about my family having land in Duncan, the allotment
Yep.
land, and that's where they asked them at the bottom of the census, do you have allotment land that you live on? And they said, no. Or do you have allotment land? I said, yes. Do you live on it? And it said, no. But here's the weird thing about that is that on the allotment jackets for that land, they said that they had planned on living on it. So again, if anybody knows why,
Why? Right.
yeah.
And why did they all of a sudden decide not to go live on it?
And again, I think you and I have talked about it too. It's really far from because my family was based in Tamaha at that time, but the
Yeah.
land was in Duncan, and I think me and you talked about it being hours and hours apart.
Yeah. In fact, I'm
And
looking at it right now while we're talking.
yeah, so it was 1910. So I don't think that they had a car. So
Right?
you can
Okay.
imagine.
Yeah, and even by car, it's 4 hours away. It's 3 hours and 54 minutes away from
Yeah,
Tamaha to Duncan.
yeah.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, so you can imagine how much longer it would be if you don't have a car. And I
Right?
that's the most recent find that I found on Sunday, and so I just was like, oh wow! Almost every other week now, there's something new. Now that I found that allotment land, that I keep finding more mysteries to it. So give me some time, I might find the actual reason of all of that because maybe there's
Yeah.
somebody that has a story about how their family also got allotment lands that they didn't live on that were just really far away, and there was a lot of it.
Yes, let's hear your stories, folks.
Yeah, please.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
Please, we need to
yeah.
know. Oh,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, mystery will be solved hopefully someday.
Yeah. I would really love for people, the newspapers.com thing again, know when you go to research something from there, especially
Mhm.
our land, where our ancestors are from.
Yeah.
I found, like I said earlier, like my grandma won a spelling bee. I found my grandfather's brother won an award, or his uncle won an award for the ugliest man at a cakewalk.
Kidding me?
No, I mean the
That is
little reports that
awesome.
they would give. I found, that my great grandmother on my grandma's side, she would go visit her family members every week to the point where it irritated them, and they would ask her to leave, and they put that in the newspaper.
No.
I just want to really stress to people that how awesome newspapers.com is, and the little, Red Hill, and then there was the Tamaha area, and then the Stigler, and they all had their own little reporters that wrote every single week, and it was this long, long column of everything that everybody was going to do. It even talked about when my grandfather came home from a visit from Fort Sill, and how long he was there, when he went back, and what he did while he was home.
It's one of the only viewpoints we have into their worlds back then,
Yeah,
more than
yeah,
the facts and data of just birth and death date. We're all looking for those little pieces that are more informational about them as humans. And so I love that too. Great point. Like, don't
yeah.
discount newspapers.com if you are searching for your ancestral stories, because you will find good stuff in there.
Especially with our family in Oklahoma, because I think we all like to talk.
Mm.
Um, and so those reporters had a lot of work to do.
There was a
Yeah,
lot of good gossip going on.
for sure. For
And you can
sure.
complain about your relatives talking too much. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Ah,
I love this. She's like, she came to visit this day and this day so much that her son asked her to go home. And I was like, what? Oh
you got stayed. You're welcome.
no. Right? Like
Well,
I
Okies
it's
do tend to hang out for a long time. We used to have friends that would come to our house that lived in
mm,
Hugo, Oklahoma. We absolutely loved them because there were three of the kids and they could play with the three of my sisters and I. And they
yeah.
would come all the way to Hog Creek, Oklahoma, and drive a long way from Hugo and hang out with us. And we didn't usually know when they were coming. They would just drive up in their car and we're like, they're here. This is
Oh,
awesome. We're gonna play
yeah.
for days.
We'll be back after this quick break. Are you looking for the perfect gift for your significant other, your bestie, or even yourself? You know you're worth it. Luxury soaps, lotions, and lip balms from Bakers Bar Soapery are 100% Choctaw crafted, and they make the perfect gifts. This work of art is their signature turquoise soap, and it's made to look like Sleeping Beauty turquoise. Do you see this gold veining throughout? And the gold marbling on top? Love it. Next, check out this apple mint custom fragrance oil soap called Say Their Name. And all proceeds go to the missing murdered Indigenous women Choctaw cause. You'll only find this blend made specifically for this soap. And yes, these are made with goat's milk, which leaves your skin feeling soft and supple. So load up on these Choctaw soaps made by Tiffany at Bakers Bar Soapery at thebbsoapery.com. But be sure to get 20% off when you use the code Native ChocTalk, that's all caps, when you spend $25 or more. Treat yourself to the luxury your skin deserves with Bakers Bar Soapery.
Well, you've learned a lot about your family history, and it's truly interesting. Thank you for sharing it. We talked earlier in the show about your business, Baker's Bar Soapery. So tell us why your soaps are different.
I believe my soaps are different just because every bar is infused with a little bit of ancestral and cultural and personal stories.
Yes.
I call myself as a storyteller, and I always do that with a grain of salt because I like to talk, so I have to kind of reel it in sometimes. But I do call myself a soap and stories teller.
I
I think
that.
that my soap kind of honors the memory and identity and our connection, and all of that is very important to me. And it helps me connect with my Irish and my Choctaw roots because I am
Yes.
both. And I think the designs and everything, I don't know, it's just the heritage and simply just, I don't know, adding it to someone's daily routine with my family heritage. It's just it's not just a soap, it's a story told, essentially.
Beautifully said. And that is so true. Like the ones that I had pulled out, and I know you didn't know I was going to do this, but
I'm
so
glad you did.
Well, and I'm a fan. I've always been a fan, and it's not
Yes.
just because you're Choctaw, and I mean that helps, but
Yeah.
they're good soaps. So I don't know if you can see this, but say their
Yeah.
name. There's two of them here that I have. One is the red hand, and
Yes.
then the feather, and of course, red is the color of. Oh, they smell so good. Red is the color of the missing murdered Indigenous people, missing murdered Indigenous women. And explain to us what the red hand is about for those who
So
may not.
the red handprint is the red color red is supposed to be a callback to our ancestors because it's a color they can see. And it's
Yeah.
also supposed to be and the handprint in of itself is to the missing and the handprints that they leave
Exactly.
on us. And so, and it also, I don't know if a lot of people remember this part, but when it first started, a story that I heard was that the handprint was put over our mouth because that's what happens to us.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, because you'll
Yeah.
see people painting the red hand on their face.
Yeah.
And you also are very involved with MMIW Chitta. Tell us about
Mhm.
that.
So I'm a volunteer, and it's a little bit different for me because I'm all the way out here in California, but they're so
Yeah.
gracious to include me and everything. So I
Uh-huh.
listen in on the meetings, and I send. Um, I should mention that our MMIW Tata soap, the Say Their Name soap, 100% of the proceeds are donated to them. And
That is
you actually
awesome.
have the evolution of our soap. So the first soap that red soap was what I made first.
Yep,
While
yep.
I was searching for the handprint mold, I searched for three
Oh.
years and then I met a lady on Facebook who made the handprint for me. She makes it now for me. And so that's the evolution.
Oh.
So we changed the soap from the red bar and the black feather because I couldn't find that to the handprint. And I changed it to a white bar so you could see that red handprint.
Mm.
So
Right.
yeah, so 100% of the proceeds goes to them. And then I get to volunteer, and whenever they have something that I can do, I try to do out here. Like if they are doing like a fry bread thing, we'll send some ingredients. Or once a month, I take all of my soap ins and I'll send it to the office because they have an office now for people to come and be if they need to be somewhere, and that helps with people when people are always going to need soap. So
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking
yeah,
of, I mean, we all need to be clean, let's be honest.
yes, yeah, yeah,
But you are everywhere. Like you were in the Choctaw Cultural Center gift shop, in the Choctaw headquarters
yeah,
gift shop. I see you everywhere, and
yeah.
that's really cool. Now, biased I am because also
Yes.
Yunish is which is what this one's called, the Yunish. This
Yeah.
one is I've bought several of these, and I don't want to use them, and I gave one to my husband to use, and I'm like,
Yes.
Okay, use that, but you have more that I don't want you to use. They're just going to sit in this cute basket.
Yes.
They smell really good. A man or woman can use them, and I don't even mean this to be a commercial. It's just I'm excited to talk to you, the maker of these, which is
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
um
I should say
that's my
too,
favorite.
the Say Their Name soap is scented with apple and mint. And it's a
Okay.
custom blended fragrance oil that's a fragrance oil and an essential oil. And I made it apple and mint because of the story in the Bible about how Eve bit the apple. And
Oh,
it's just kind of it's a throwback to women are going to do what they want to. Because
there you go.
originally, and whether it be good or bad, we're going to do what we need to. And
Mm.
so that's where that story came from because I always get asked, what apple? And then also with the Yanish, it's a leather scent. And I
Mm. Yep.
searched for a few years to find a fragrance oil that
Did you
smelled like,
really? Oh
yes.
my gosh. That's
And
so cool.
that one is just, you open the bottle on that one, it's, whoa, that is leather. Like you've ever walked into like a boot store and it just it's just
Yes.
kind of poof, like hits you in the face.
Exactly. That's it. That is exactly what it smells like.
Yeah.
That is so true. And that's why it's
Hmm.
a great for a man. But again, I use it as well, but no one else
Me
is
too.
that was the last soap that anyone is using because the rest of them are all decorative.
We have a new soap that is a bison at night, and forgive me for not pronouncing the Choctaw word very well, but it's Ninak Yanish Sahobi Atak, and it
Oh,
means white bison at night. So it's the same mold as that one, and forgive me if my pronunciation was wrong because I know that it's not
I
perfect.
get it.
But it is a cedar smelling, and it's a white bison, and I've made the background with blue and black, so it looks like it's standing on a hill, and it's got stars
Uh,
in it.
is that out yet?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go order it. Okay.
that one is really fun, and I wanted to do something that was a little bit different than
Yeah.
the leather scented, and so that one is really fun, especially because it's this stark white. Because have you ever stayed at the hotel in Durant?
Yes.
Okay, so many years ago, when my mom and daddy were going back and forth, they would say that, and they gave the white soaps that were the white buffalo. My mom
Oh,
actually
okay.
still has the soap, and it was shrunk wrap. It was like a white buffalo, and it was just like this little tiny soap. And
Yeah.
she kept it, and I was like, I got to do something about that. I want to make something like that too. So that's where that
Right,
came from. She
right.
kept the soap. She's had it since 2005.
See, exactly. That's so true. You don't want to use them because they're so pretty.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we made the Yanish soap, and it was one of our cultural meetings out here in California, Chief came by. He's like, we used to have white soaps. I was like, I know. He's like, we
This
still
is
have
where
these.
this is the inspiration.
Yes.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to admit, like, if you're not watching YouTube right now to listen to this show, go look on YouTube because Tiffany has the cutest soap earrings on right
Oh,
now. Are those
thank you.
beaded?
Yeah, so these are beaded. These are by Courtney Yellow Wolf.
Okay.
She's Choctaw. She's in the Pacific Northwest, and I got a really big order from a publishing house last year, and this was the first thing I got when I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yep.
I've been
Time to
thinking
buy.
about these."
Time to buy those.
And and the funny thing is, she's so good at customs, and these are made to look like the soap emojis from your phone, from the keyboard.
Oh,
And so I
that's so
texted
cute.
her and I was like, Courtney, do you think you could do a soap beaded earring that looks like the soap emoji? She's like, I'll certainly try. They're just exactly like it. She did an amazing job.
They are beautiful. I love them and they're
Thank you.
fun and
Yes.
they're so perfect for you. You're
That's what I
just so
thought
queen,
too.
right?
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, what I do love about your soaps is they're nicely priced. They make fantastic gifts or stocking stuffers. I always put them in stocking stuffers for my friends and family, for men and women.
Yes.
And listeners, I know you care about what goes on your skin, and let's be real, we all should. So you can use these knowing that they're fantastic for your skin, and it's a great way to support an Indigenous woman-owned business, much less Choctaw. So
Yes.
don't forget to go to check out the bbsoapery.com and be sure to follow at Bakers Bar Soapery on Instagram and then check out her Facebook, her TikTok, and see what Tiffany's creating next. And as I promised, you will get 20% off when you use the code Native ChocTalk. That's all one word, all caps, NATIVECHOCTALK when you spend $25 or more.
Yes.
So, Tiffany, your research and connection to your roots is so inspiring. Thank you for sharing this history with us. And before we go, are there any words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners?
Please be nosy. Please be
Perfect.
nosy about your family history. Please be nosy about your family history.
Amen. I am with you on that 100%. Well,
Yeah.
Yakoki, and I can't wait to hear part two when you learn more about your family stories.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Native Chalk Talk. Be sure to join our community on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check us out at nativechalktalk.com. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're going to love it. Yakoki. Thank you, my friends.